Thank you guys for hanging out. What's going on, everybody? Sorry about that delay. We're in here, though. All right, let me get to some of your comments, and then let's talk. There's a lot of stuff going on right now that we should talk about for sure. Also got some Doge product-related things to talk about as well. Hey, what's up, Sadu? Ahmed, hello, how you doing? Hello, Rick, how's it going, man? Hope you're doing good. Someone tell me why we're not going to the moon. We'll definitely talk about that today. Hey, what's up, Skydive? Al Rod, what's going on? Buy the dip, buy the dip. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's flip to Dogecoin really quick. Let's look at the Dogecoin chart instead of the Bitcoin chart. I'm sorry? Huh. You guys see that? At first glance, how much worse Dogecoin was doing than Bitcoin? Look. Just at first glance. Look at Dogecoin right here, how it came off this extremely steep downtrend and where it's at. But then look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks a little more stable. So that's interesting. Now, we know Bitcoin's obviously the big dog, so you would expect stability, but the pattern, I mean, obviously it's the same thing overall, but this right here is very drastic and bearish. But hey, welcome to the teens, everybody. Hope you had your dip buying fingers ready. We talked about this yesterday. Predictions were 19 cents, and then we've got 16 cents under us, as well as 13 at the absolute bottom. I don't see us going under that, but there's more to talk about other than that, all right? But we did, I mean, we've been calling this dip for weeks now. It's nothing new. We know this. What's up, Stankus? How's it going? We're going to the moon soon, in due time, and we might have gotten some acceleration in that regard with the inflation report. And so I want to talk about that as well. A couple comments here. I'll just keep scrolling through. Present. What's going on, Preezy? Glad you made it this time. That was unfortunate about yesterday. I don't know why notifications didn't go out, but I blasted it out in Discord group, Twitter, and I scheduled it a little in advance. So hopefully everybody's here that wanted to be here. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't already, smash that like button. It helps get other people in here. Let's see if we can get like 100 viewers. This is only going to be a half an hour stream because I do have, you know, Tuesday's my busy day. So let's make it a good one. Hit that like button. T-shirt idea: Wesley Snipes on t-shirt from Passenger 50 saying always bet on Doge. Nice. I like that. I like that. Keep them coming, guys. I'm making these shirts for y'all. Preezy. Exactly, Alrod. How long should I buy the dip? It keeps going down. Well, the thing is not how long is it going to stay down or how far is it going to go down, but it's knowing what points it's probably going to go to and then what points it's probably going to stop at. When you know those levels, you can time your buys properly instead of just saying, oh, it went from 24 cents to 23 cents. I'm going to drop another third of my capital in. You want to average down at key levels, like actual key levels on the way down. So I'll just give you a hint. 19 cents is one, 16 cents is another, and then down towards, you know, anything under 15 cents is probably going to be like your next range. Depending on how greedy you want to get, you could do 14, you could do 13, you could try for 12. I don't think we go anywhere below 12 cents Dogecoin at any point. All right, let's see. But now is a good, you know, as you watch this move here, keep in mind, this is kind of our support right now for the moment, but we've got this whole range. All of this right here is 19 cents. Now, obviously I'm zoomed in really far, so it looks like a massive area, but when you take a step back, not really. Actually, it's very small compared to the usual ups and down moves. This is a very small little chunk, right? But we are just under 20 cents. So anywhere between here and 19 is a little dip buy range. Now, whether or not we're going to go below 19 cents, that's part of the conversation we'll have today. But this is your first dip buy range. Your next dip buy range is going to be if we get back down to here. So let's just say 16.5 down to 16 flat. Or let's just do 16 to 17. That makes a little more sense for now. Here's your next little dip buy opportunity where you throw a little more in. Then if we start to crash, if we make a new low under this, that's going to spark market crash because now we're making new lows that we had not seen before. For that reason, you can expect a deep dip of a couple cents before things really actually make a good reversal. So depending on how patient you want to be, in my opinion, this is the last spot you can consider us potentially falling to. And so anywhere within that 12 to 14 cent range, that one's up to you. You know, how greedy you want to be on buying that dip. But 19 cents, we're pretty much there. This one, we'll see what happens, but that's what I want to talk about today. This one is going to be if we go below this one. So that's the way that plays out. What's up? What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. Thank you for hanging out. Hit the like button and bring more people in. More people, more info. Exactly. Buy before it goes to 20 cents. So wait and see if it goes down more. Doge made me A, rich, B, happy, C, generous, D, all of the above. I'm going to say D. Al Rod, we get it. Chill, understand. Al Rod's hype. Big money, apparently. What's up? What's going on, Adam? Welcome, welcome. Exactly. 1 like per person. Let's see if we can do it. You're still not in Preezy? Me neither. Hey, what's up? Quad up. Larry Stone, what's going on? Good evening. Subi Pilot, welcome back. Doge is apparently eating from the right side of the mushroom. Tavy, everything going to 0. Let's talk about that in a sec as well. Armand, what's going on? Preezy, you better not cry if you miss out. Yeah, same here though, but I have not bought yet. Is there a possibility in your opinions of 30 cents by August? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, by August 1st, that's 2 weeks from now. So I don't know about that, but by sometime in August, absolutely. There's nothing that would make me say no to that. Now, my subscription notifications are a little wonky right now. So if you subscribe, just tell me in the comments and I'll thank you. But I don't know why my alerts aren't going off, guys, like how you get the pop-up on the screen. So just say I subbed and I'll thank you for that. Appreciate that. All right. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes, shall we? By the way, I am wearing one of the official shirt candidates that I ordered, and this is my favorite one so far. It fits like a shirt you buy at a store. So this is the one I'm going to roll with. I'll keep you posted. Now, let's get to the TA here. And let's talk Doge, shall we? We've been talking about for the last couple weeks how this did not look good by any means. First, the original dip down, how we came up to, 42 cents, and I'm talking Bitcoin here, $42,000 on Bitcoin, rejected, and everything after that was weak. And then what ended up happening after Bitcoin tried for to break 42,000 the last time and it failed, that kind of started a whole major market crash, part 2, which is where you saw this move happen right here, and this is where we hit and made new lows on Dogecoin, but just barely new lows on Bitcoin. But obviously the altcoins that are less stable and smaller took it harder. They're more volatile, so they tend to make bigger moves off major moves. So ever since then, we've then been trading on the underside of this blue line. As you can hopefully clearly see now, this was trading on the top side of it after we dumped. Now we're trading on the bottom side of it. This was previously support. Now it's pretty much the resistance level, our key level of resistance. We need to get back to that and start trading on the top side of it before you can start saying that we're anywhere in bullish territory again. That means in order to say that we're bullish on Dogecoin, technically, of course, we need to get through the EMAs on the way up, but we need to be on the top side of 30 cents, trading comfortably again, which is, bouncing up here where we were after the initial crash from 60 and 50 up here. This is where we came from, 60 cents. And before that, SNL, 70. But we were pretty comfortable in the, let's just say 40 to 60 cent range, really up to 50 as well, 55. After the crash, we were 30 to 40. And then after this little crash, the secondary crash right here, we are 16 to 30. So now we're on the low half. To say we're bullish in bullish territory again, we need to get back up to 30 cents and start trading back up here, 30 to 35. That's what needs to happen. So until that happens, we can't really feel confident, and we can't really say we're in the bullish zone and that we're going to the moon quite yet. We know we're going there, but the question's when and what can we do in between then to maximize our profits. If you don't care and you're just a hodler, I am hodling on some accounts, cool. You're just along for the ride. You bought and you're just going to keep averaging down, buying more. You're not selling. Selling is not in your vocabulary, and I respect that 100%. If you are Scalping though, or looking to make trades and profit off the volatility as these days and weeks and months go by before Dogecoin fully goes back and rockets to, towards 60, 70, 80, 90 cents in a dollar, then you want to know what's going to happen in between, on the downs, on the ups. Almost had to sneeze, but we're not going to. Cool. You want to know what's going to happen on the ups and downs here, so that you can buy low, sell high, rinse and repeat, and keep making profit, and then buy back in and ride the wave up. So you just want to be more active. Either way is fine. We know overall we're contributing more buying pressure than selling pressure, and we're really only selling when everyone else was going to sell anyway at the obvious points. So we're not really keeping the price from going anywhere it wasn't going to go already. So we're not, you know the game. So there's no shame in that either. But basically, we cover this every single day to know when are those bounces going to happen, and then where are we going to stop. So where can we buy, where can we sell, or where's the best place to average down, or where can we buy our best dips. So all things considered here, as you can see, there are some bearish patterns that are still continuing to form. This is the one we've been talking about already for the longest period of time. This little move right here, and okay, so let's just say this, followed by this move, and then to right here, it repeats. This section repeats right here, the sell-off, the move up, the curl, and now you're seeing what's becoming the dump right here. All right, so that's why this is getting concerning. So basically, if this pattern is going to repeat itself to a T, you can see that as soon as it gets below the previous low, the previous support that it touched, it does this little consolidation there and confirms, I'm not going up here. It uses this as resistance. That's when the major dump starts, part 2. So if that's what's going to happen right here, and you could see that on the major dump, it didn't actually go that much further than it had already gone on the first initial dip. The first initial dip was 19 cents. The major dip right here that you're seeing was down to 16. So really, it was only 3 cents extra. So I wouldn't be panicked right here, but that does line up perfectly with our thesis that if this is going to repeat what it just did here, and we're just assuming, that's all you can do with TA, that's all technical analysis is assuming based off what makes the most sense, along with, your training. So if we make another low here, which means if we drop below about 19.5 and confirm we're still in this downtrend here, and especially if we then confirm that even further by breaking below to the 19 cent level as a whole, we're probably headed down towards 16 at least, which was the previous low, which in this case would have been like falling here and getting to this point right here. I don't know if you can see that, but like right here. Depending on how people are feeling, once we get down to 16 cents, at that point, we're going to be probably about 30,000. No, probably about in the 20s on Bitcoin. In the 20,000s, very high 20,000s, like 29, 28 again. Or maybe even a little bit lower, like 27. But anyway, depending on how the market's feeling, once we get down to here, that's when you can expect potentially to sell off those next couple cents, just like it did right here in relation to this stopping point, how it just went a little bit further. And that's where you could possibly grab the absolute bottom before the reversal, somewhere in the 14 to 12 cent range. So that's the way this is looking right now. Now, the main question is, are we going to drop, or is this it? Here's the thing. I can't tell you that. Nobody can. All right. Nobody knows. All we can do is look at what things are looking at right now and try and make our best guess. That's really what TA is. Also using your indicators, and everything and everything you can see, your support lines, how strong are they, your resistance, everything factored in and trying to get an answer. It does not look good, okay? And that's pretty much all we can say. And when things don't look good in regards to the potential to go up, that means it probably won't. Just look here, all this weakness right here, how it did this little thing, a little move up and then just sold off again. And now we're kind of seeing this little part 2 diagonal trading downward, weak, making higher highs, lower highs, lower lows, all the way down. We might see a little bottoming out here, a little move up towards like 20.5, and then that could be when we actually see the hard pullback. But as you can see, if you just summarize what's been happening for the last 2 months, because going back to here, this was May 20th. Ever since here, the 200 EMA has been in a downtrend, and at the very best, it kind of traded horizontally here. Didn't even go up like much more than a cent right here before it just continued down this steep downward slope. So that's where we're at. I'm not going to buy quite yet because for me, it doesn't make sense to buy. All right, we're still at such a deep discount on Dogecoin right now that I've got a couple cents to spare in either direction, in my opinion, before I'd feel like, oh, I missed out on an opportunity. So if I'm not convinced based off my technical analysis and what I know that we're at the bottom here on Dogecoin, we're still at 19 cents, which means even if I think we're going to fall based off what I can see and we end up reversing and I'm wrong, I can still get back in at 22, at 23, at 24, and I'm still in under 25 cents Dogecoin, which means by the time we get back to all-time highs, which was 75 cents, I'll have 3x'd, at least 3x'd my money. All right, and I'm perfectly fine with risking just a couple cents of average to make sure I'm not buying in and putting most of my capital in way too soon. Now, that being said, I am also holding, like I said, to those of you that haven't been here on this channel before, I'm not only scalping and I'm not only trying to time the bottom. I am still holding on some accounts from like 50 and 60 cents on my holding accounts that I already told myself when it started to fall, I just wasn't going to touch those. I knew Dogecoin. I had enough faith in it that it was going to come back up. So I'm holding those from up high averages. So don't think I'm like trying to time the bottom, or don't think that because I'm not in and you might be in already, like you might start thinking, well, should I sell and buy back in cheaper? I haven't sold on a couple accounts, all right, from 60 cent average, and I don't plan to. So hopefully that answers your question. If you've been holding since like 60 cents, 50 cents, 40 cents, and you're still holding down at 19, selling right now, I mean, it's a little late. Should have probably considered that much sooner. At this point, this is average down territory. So if you're holding with a higher average, anything from here and under, if you've got more capital, this is your opportunity to drop that in, buy a whole lot more coins at a much cheaper price, bring your dollar cost average down, which will then mean basically all that really indicates is that when the price recovers, you'll be back at break even that much sooner, and then everything beyond that point will then be profit. So if your dollar cost average, or if your cost average right now, let's just say it's 50 cents, that means you're not going to break even, and you're in the loss right now, and you're not going to break even until we get back to 50 cents Dogecoin. But if you can average down, get that down to 40, down to 30, down to 20s, that means as soon as Dogecoin gets back up to that point, if you decided, all right, I'm out, I'm done with this Dogecoin thing, you can cut and have lost $0 that much sooner at that lower price. And then if you just hold on, anything beyond that is now profit. And so that's the beauty of averaging down if you can afford to. As of now, though, if you just look at the chart, this doesn't look so good. We've been still making like lower highs and lower lows all the way down here overall. And yes, you can see there were little, not consistently, not every single point, but you see the like swings. They're very, this is obviously a steep downtrend. This isn't something I want to just buy into, especially because right here, this is still looking weak down at what is trying to say is a support level, which would be right here. Because as you can see, this is where we reversed just now. There was consolidation here, though the first time it flew by it and came back up. And then this is where it bounced. And now this is where it's pretending, or at least indicating, it's considering holding right now. But as you can see, some of these candles still look really, really bearish, like it is considering not holding there. So I'm not just going to throw my money in right now. There's no reason to rush it. Dogecoin's been trading down in a downtrend for 2 months now. Why am I going to rush buy in at this moment? This isn't some crazy price. This isn't the first time we've been at 19 cents. I'm not just going to FOMO buy. I'd like to be more comfortable that, especially if you're the type of trader that does not want to do a whole lot of trades, you want to keep things simple. And sometimes simple is how you make more money, because you eliminate the possibilities of going into a trade and being wrong. You keep those minimized, right? So maybe you'll just do 1 or 2 trades and maybe you'll get lucky. Both of those will be right. So the less trading I can do, especially streaming and talking to you guys most of the time as well, the better. So what I'd rather do is just wait, see if this holds, and maybe if it starts to bounce and curve up and it looks like it's going to start reversing trend, maybe at some point then I look for an entry at 20, at 21, at 22. I don't care. Anywhere under 25, I've already told myself is my dip buy territory. The lower the better, but I do want to buy in on confirmation of reversal. I'm not going to just keep trying to guess. I'd at least want to wait to see confirmation that we're going to bounce. Right now, we haven't bounced yet on the 4 hour, which I think is important long term. Now, you can try going down to like the 30 minute or the 3 minute or whatever you want to trade on short term, but I'm trying to look at the big picture, like I said, because this is a multiple day to week to month play. It's not me just day trading this at this moment, though I do that as well. If we've dropped it down here to the 30-minute time frame, though, you can still see, compared to even the 200 EMA that's in a downtrend that we're pulling down with us, how weak we are in regards to that. We're not even coming close to bouncing off of it on the way down anymore. Right here, I mean, this was a pretty steep sell-off. If you just trend channel it, in case you wanted to see. Overall, there's that, which wasn't quite so bad. Then when you look here, it just got even steeper over the shorter term. Apple announced they are not buying Bitcoin a few hours ago. Ooh. Well, that's not good. That's really not good, okay? That just tripled the chance of a dip right there. I did not catch that news yet. I've been nonstop busy, right? And preparing for the stream, but I did not catch that news. That is terrible. So definitely get your dip buy fingers now, and that just 3x my conviction not to buy at this particular moment. Okay, so the highest point I'm considering buying right now, if you just want to know what I'm doing, is probably 19 cents flat, like very close to it. This right here, 19.8, it is teens, but it's basically still 20 cents. It's not that crazy. We've been here multiple times, especially given the bad news. I'll wait it out. That's where I feel comfortable. All right, here's the other thing I wanted to talk about, though. The inflation report. So I'm not super into like the fundamentals when it comes to like the economy and all that stuff. Doesn't really interest me that much, but I do like to still hear the news so I can know what to expect next. Now, here's what just happened. The inflation report basically came out today, and like in the United States, particularly with the trillions of dollars that were pumped into the market to stimulate the economy, that there was bound to be some sort of inflation after printing dollars out of nowhere, basically. The inflation report, they expected to get like a 5% rate increase or something like that. The number that was expected was 0.5. Instead, it was 0.9. That was the actual number that was dropped. So twice as high as the expectation, the expected inflation increase. So what does that mean? Well, that means now, I don't know if you looked at the stock market, but the stock market has started to crash yet again. Why? Because people panic when the US dollar is going to be, or any dollar, wherever you are, is going to be worth less. People panic and they start trying to figure out other things to do with their money to protect it from inflation, to protect their money, especially if they have a lot of it, from losing value over time. Because it already loses value with inflation. That's why a lot of times people go into the stock market and they try and invest it into ETFs and stuff to counter that inflation by, the dividend paying, and then the usual rate of like increase in the S&P 500, where usually like you can gain 8% on your investment per year if you just sit it in a solid ETF and let that bake. All right, but now that the inflation rate is really high, people are now like, well, is the ETF even going to cut it? Like, the other options you have are trying to do something like real estate or something that's deflationary, like cryptocurrency. So that's where things get kind of interesting. Because, for example, instead of holding US dollars, why not now just hold Bitcoin or something like that, to counter that inflation and wait for things to settle down? Because, after despite the crash situation here, the whole purpose of Bitcoin is to be deflationary and be a much better store of value than the US dollar long term. And that's why it's been so successful. Because you can't make more of it. Its supply, its rate of distribution, its rate of being discovered, and everything is written in stone. It's in the smart contract, in the code. It is very predictable. Whereas the US dollar, just depending on what the government wants to do, you'll see what then happens, right? But you can't do stimulus in Bitcoin. It's not possible. So for that reason, that's why I felt a little bit more bullish on Bitcoin at the moment, because, okay, that's not Bitcoin. Because with bad news in relation to the US dollar, typically that means good news for cryptocurrency, whose whole purpose is to alleviate itself of the downfalls of the US dollar, or of just fiat currency in general. And the main one being something like Bitcoin being deflationary. So what I think is that there is potential that we don't see quite as hard of a crypto market crash that we would have initially seen, as over the next couple days, especially if the stock market continues to do bad and continues to go down, that people start considering, especially bigger money, buying a little bit more Bitcoin, seeing the dip opportunity, and seeing the stock market as maybe not the way to go right now, because that requires you to hold USD. That being said, my crash analysis is a little bit modified compared to what it was, where I was saying I think we're going to go down to 25,000. I no longer really think that's the case. If these things continue to make sense in my head and play out that way, I don't know if we crash that hard, because I think we're going to see a little bit of extra buying pressure over this next week. And maybe that crash stops somewhere like at the very lowest, like at like 29 or something like that. Either way, you'll see Dogecoin, if that happens, down to like 17, almost 16 cents again on the low side. So I think we'll see either 19 cents Dogecoin or anywhere down to like 16 cents. I don't really know if we see Bitcoin bring us down to that 13-cent dip anymore, if people start buying it up like I think they might. Now, at the same time, China continuing to FUD, and then Apple now saying that they're not going to buy Bitcoin. We've got good and bad news for cryptocurrency countering itself at the same time. So we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. But overall, inflation in the US dollar bad news is good news for cryptocurrency, whose whole purpose is to counter the US dollar and provide benefits that the US dollar does not provide, and really the complete opposite. So the downsides of the USD, things like Bitcoin, that's its upsides. So inflation is really bad on the USD. Cool. Bitcoin is going to be even more valuable to you then. So that's just my thought. All right, now let me read some more comments, and then I've got about 10 minutes or so, and then I'll probably wrap up. By the way, just got my Doge beans. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I just wanted to show the Doge beans here. Just got it in the mail. And then it came with a Greg sticker, like a Jesus Greg sticker. I thought that was pretty awesome. You can go to, this has nothing to do with me, by the way, but I just wanted to support the Dogecoin community. And I got to talk to the guys over at Doge Beans. They were really cool. And I told you guys that as soon as I got them, I'd show them on stream too. So haven't tried them yet, but it smells good. It has little cutout holes so you can smell. And you can go to dogebeans.com, and you can actually buy them. You can pay for them in Dogecoin natively, the way it should be. You can actually buy them natively in Dogecoin, no converting on your end or anything. In the same way, like if you would send Dogecoin to me at the QR code, they have a QR code that pops up, tells you how much Dogecoin to send to that address. You scan the QR code or you send it to that address, and then it'll give you the check mark, say that you're approved. It was awesome. So check them out, dogebeans.com. I'm going to have a Doge Beans shirt made and tweet it. Hopefully they retweet it. That'd be cool. But I just love that kind of stuff. So anyway, back to the content. But yeah, at the moment I'm not in on my scalping accounts. Yeah, absolutely, Hungarian guy. What's going on? And what's going on, Ryan? Everybody, don't forget, if you're not subbed, click that button. Don't forget. Things are looking grim. Absolutely, I agree. Let me flip back to Dogecoin. Still hanging here, looking weak at the teen marker here. Got me a loud pack too. Nice. Any chance that the whales are dragging down the Bitcoin price to make the Apple rumor a reality and it's jacking up the market? Maybe. I mean, there's always that chance. Why was Apple going to buy Bitcoin? That is a good question. I didn't know they were going to buy it, but them specifically saying they're not going to buy it is what causes a problem, because that just starts spreading fear, because it's just bad news out of nowhere for no reason. We see, hey, what's going on, Matthew? We are seeing inflation because our supply lines are all screwed up from the COVID shutdowns, used car markets inflated, wages needing to come up to lower unemployment. There are a lot of things pushing the markets down. Yep. Plus the price of food and utilities up as well. Yep. Preezy, what's going on? Oh, you were saying hey to them. I already said hey to you, Preezy. Dip party not ending anytime soon? It very well may not. This Dogecoin pack. What's the news? What's going on, Bryce? Oh, you missed it as well, Giselle? Pretty much stuck here till Tesla news. What's going on, Josh? Yeah, guys, so just a very quick recap, because I've got probably 5 minutes left here. Very, very, very quick summary recap for those that just popped in. Dogecoin's looking bearish. It's trading on the bottom side of where it was before. Previously, it was trading up here. A little bit of another crash. Now it's trading on the bearish side of that. It's repeating this pattern. It looks like it's going to do what it's at this stage right here, right now. If it does continue and drop below that line, it'll probably crash down to at least, near 17, 16 cents. And if it fails there, it'll probably go just a little bit further before it recovers, right around 14 to 12. Things aren't looking good. We're in the teens right now. Bitcoin is also not looking good either. Now, there was also good and bad news for Bitcoin, which makes me wonder how much further we're actually going to crash and which news will take priority. The good news being that the inflation report was actually worse than expected. People were expecting 0.5 to be the number. It was actually double that at 0.9, which is close to 10. That's why I said double. Which means the inflation is now twice as bad as people expected it to be. When there's inflation, the value of the US dollar decreases, but cryptocurrency is specifically made to be deflationary, which means the value of it increases over time, and that can't be modified. But it's not all cryptocurrency, but specifically Bitcoin, which is our crypto market leader. So logically thinking, a bad USD inflation rate report should mean more people wanting to transition their US dollar, especially since the stock market's starting to crash right now because of that report, and people are obviously selling to take their money out the stock market and put it other places. The other logical places would be real estate and other physical asset type investments, to not be holding USD anymore, but something of value that can appreciate, and then something deflationary that appreciates, like Bitcoin. All right, so we might start seeing some of that big money start transitioning into the Bitcoin space, and that keep us from dipping as far as we potentially would have. I'm not saying we won't still dip a little bit more, but some of that buying pressure could save us from crashing too much harder, and maybe 16, 17 cents is the absolute lowest, or maybe we even recover right around here at 19 and start heading up a little bit. So that's all I'm saying. So that part is kind of good, but then everybody's now saying that they caught news that Apple made a statement that they are not going to be buying Bitcoin, which I never heard that they were going to be. But anytime someone says that kind of thing, it specifically makes a statement like we're not buying Bitcoin. Obviously, that's not good, especially a market-leading company like Tesla. Like Apple. The only other companies like that are pretty much Microsoft, Google, and Tesla, in my opinion, for the most part. Amazon too. So that's actually concerning. So we'll see what takes precedent. Will the inflation report help Bitcoin to a degree that outweighs the bad, or will the bad of Apple's announcement just counter it and keep us either running the same course or crashing harder? So we'll just have to see what happens. Thanks for the live sesh, keeping me sane on the sidelines again, waiting for that next dip. Yeah, absolutely. Glad to see you. And I will get back to your email. I don't check email very often, so usually the best way to ask questions is in stream or in the Discord group. Instagram and emails, like my DMs and email, I check every once in a while. So there was a rumor Apple was going to buy 2.5 billion in Bitcoin. Oh, well, that's not good that fell through. What happened to Seven and Carson? Haven't seen them in here for a while. I think Carson got really busy with power washing job and didn't have more money to buy more dips. And Seven, I don't know. I see him every once in a while in the Discord group, but he's been kind of distant away as well. What's my estimated time frame for full recovery to at least 50 cents, end of July or later? 50 cents, definitely not end of July. I would, if we're back at 50 cents, that implies that Bitcoin also recovered, all right? And so saying that Bitcoin's going to recover back to 50 cents within the next 2 weeks to me seems like a bit of a stretch, because that implies that Elon Musk is going to make the announcement to bring Bitcoin back up to $50,000, $55,000 or whatever, to say that they're reverting that suspension on accepting Bitcoin as payment for Tesla vehicles. And we know that the catalyst, what they need is to reach 50% clean mining energy as a whole. You know, all the Bitcoin mining needs to be done, at least 50% of it off clean energy. And in my opinion, that I don't know if that happens by end of July for him to also recognize it and then revert. I would say by end of August. Probably we'll see towards the end of August going into September. I think that's when we can really see, at the latest, that should be when we sometime by like September, we should see the market do its U-turn. So that's my guess. Obviously, I have no idea where they're at with the clean energy mining. They could be way further ahead than I'm thinking, and maybe that is true end of July, but there's no statistic going around as far as I know, so it's just guesses. But it just seems like that would be really fast to be done within the next 2 weeks. Now, we do know that we have Elon Musk that's going to be talking to some of the people over that are involved with Bitcoin, having some discussions with them, I think in a couple weeks, right? I forget the date. Was it like the 28th of this month? So keep your eyes peeled for that, because who knows? Maybe he could drop a bombshell there and say, well, oh, you guys are 50% at this point? All right, let's do it. Welcome back. And then you'll see Bitcoin take off, and then Dogecoin will as well. So it's either going to be then or probably in like another month or two. So, just use your iPhone. Ooh, a coffee. Yeah, Discord. I don't like Discord on mobile that much. Okay, I'll check Robinhood for that. Thanks, Skydev. Rumors never come true. There were no rumors of Tesla buying Bitcoin. It just happened. Just got off. What's up? Just market crashing. But basically, we may see dip to like 17, 16 cents. I don't know if we go much further than that. But either 19-ish is going to be a dip buy opportunity, or probably 16 to 17. I don't really know how much further we go with now the inflation report. That should be good news for Bitcoin. So I think some big money will transfer over to the Bitcoin side. And some of that buying pressure will keep us from crashing down to the real danger zone that I thought was going to be, you know, the worst case scenario zone. I don't know if we hit that, but we probably still hit this. It's just my guess, but we'll see. Yeah, no problem, Byron. Awesome, guys. Well, I'm 1 minute late for what I got to do next. Appreciate you all for hanging out. Shirts are coming soon. Stay tuned for that. Probably next couple days, I'll be able to start showing you guys what's actually available if you want some Dogecoin apparel. Very high quality stuff, so I'm happy about that. Anyway, subscribe, guys. All 45 of you in the chat right now, in the stream right now, and see each one of you. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already, so you can catch me in the next stream tomorrow. And then also, link is in the description. Check that out right now to follow me on Twitter for updates when I'm not live streaming, which is pretty often. All right, but I'm out of here, everybody. Thank you for hanging out, and I will catch you on Twitter, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next stream. Have a good evening and night. Thanks, guys.